Hello everyone, Timmy back again. So today I'm going to be doing a very interesting video, particularly a video about local LLMs and the state of where local LLMs are. So far we've been using, everyone uses something like GPT-5 Codex or Codex or Claude, Gemini. These are all models that exist in the cloud, controlled by Google, controlled by OpenAI, controlled by Anthropic, right? And if you look at the pricing of these models, like they're only going higher and higher and higher. Right now, you can get ChatGPT Plus for $20 per month. By the end of the day, you're going to be really restricted to certain limits. And for someone who is like, let's say, a power user, you're sending a couple tens of messages per day, coding related, this is not going to suffice, right? So someone might end up going for something like, let's say, $200 per month, so that you can have enough limits to actually, get any sort of reasonable coding done. But at that price per month, if you're bringing in cash, you have some disposable income, that's fine. You can pay that amount, no problem. Another approach is actually getting an API key and using Codex with that. But the problem occurs is that not everyone wants to use these cloud models, right? So let's say you're doing prototyping, and you don't need the most powerful model in the world. You just need a model that's just going to guide you. That's where local LLMs can come in handy, right? They're private, meaning that whatever messages you send, it stays on your computer. They're pretty much free. All you're paying is your compute costs at home, electricity, or the cost of your hardware. And so it's a really, really great alternative. So today I want to do a comparison between some of the interesting local LLMs that I've come across and just sort of see, what is it like actually using this for, everyday tasks, coding, questions and answers, stuff like that. See what they're gonna generate for us, essentially. So today, the way we will get this working is, if you've heard of something called Ollama. Ollama is a really nice tool for essentially running local models on your computer or LLMs on your computer locally. And so it's very easy to get started. You pretty much need to go to the download page. When you go to the download page, you have macOS. You just download your macOS package. Typically it will be a DMG probably. Linux, you can run your curl command if you're on Linux, and Windows as well. The same thing, you download an exe or an installer, and that way you have it running, and you can basically, install all the models that you want to install. If you're on Linux, it's a simple curl command. You can run it from the terminal. And so I already have this installed. And so once you have it installed, everything's there. You can actually, if you just go to your terminal, you go here, you can do something like Ollama, and that way you should have it available there. So on macOS, you can run that. On Windows, you can run the same command, as well as Linux. And when you want to install a new model on macOS, I believe you have a GUI to install now, similar to LM Studio. But for Linux, it's as simple as, or Windows, or even macOS in the terminal, you can simply just do something like Ollama run whatever model you want. In our case today, we're going to be comparing three very interesting models here that I think they're really, really nice models. Would be GPT-OSS model. This one is an open weight model released by OpenAI. I'm trying to use here the 20B model, so I have that installed already. So if you wanted to download that, you just need to do Ollama run, and then you just pasting your model. In this case, the model will be GPT-OSS 20B. So you can pretty much just do that. And then if you wanted to, so in this case, you can install that. We also have Qwen 3 coder, which is another model we want to do. You can do the, in our case, I did the 30B model, but you can decide that you want to do, I think, is this a smaller model? I think this is about the same. So I'm running the 30B. If you want, you can try to install a much smaller model if your computer cannot run this 30B model. And the next thing will be Gemma 3 27B. So this one, again, same thing, you just type Ollama run and you get them installed. So in my case, I'm just going to show you running this model. So I'm going to do that, Ollama run. It's as simple as that. It's going to run the model, and then basically I'll be able to chat with it, right? So I'll be able to say like, hi, so you can see it thinks a little bit, and it says, hello, how can I help you today? Generate me a Python program that says hello everyone. It thinks, it says okay, and then you see here like basically we just generate the program for you, right? So this is pretty nice. Okay, as you can see here, simple Python script. Yeah, and it does that pretty much. So what we're going to do here is, right now this is running in Ollama, but we want to be able to run this in something like, let's say, OpenCode. So what is OpenCode? OpenCode is essentially a way to run multiple models in a terminal and code with those models. And again, to install it is as simple as, if you wanted to run a call command, you can do that in Mac OS or Linux. On Windows, you can use npm, or Mac OS, Linux, you can use npm as well. You can use brew. So whichever way you want to install it, you can install it with that. I already have this installed, and so I don't need to install it again. And then the next thing you want to do is, once you've installed this and it's running, so anytime you do OpenCode, if you type OpenCode in your terminal, it should come up and you should see OpenCode there. If you don't see that, then probably go through the docs and see how to get that working, but it should be pretty straightforward. Typing OpenCode should just open it up. You can close your terminal and restart it, and it should work. The next thing you want to do is you want to set up providers for OpenCode. And in this case, if you look at OpenCode, by default, it doesn't have models from Ollama, right? So by default, I just added this myself, but by default, it doesn't have these Ollama models you see here. And so that's something that you're going to have to set up. To set that up, it's as simple as having a config file. So in here, they do have a nice config file where you can add models to. And if you're on Mac OS, it's as simple as creating this file. You can just do like v, and you do that. So there's a global config. If you're on Linux, you can also do that as well. If you're on Windows as well, you can create that global config file. So in this case, I already have this, so I'm just going to open it. And here you can see I have all the models. So you can go to the providers here, and if you search for Ollama, you would actually see that at the bottom here, there is an Ollama provider. Right, so it's as simple as copying that. You can paste, and then you can modify based on the models you have. So here I downloaded the GPT-OSS 20B, Qwen 3 coder. I have all the models as well that are there, and so those exist there right now. So I'm just going to quit this file, and then when you add that, you save. It would be as simple as, so make sure that to save you do like WQ, that would write it, and that would quit, right? And so the next thing you want to do is you want to go back to OpenCode, and then when you go back here, you can actually now select a model. So in this case, let's say I wanted to select, I don't know, like GPT-OSS 20B, I select that model and I say hello. One thing I find is that sometimes it actually takes a bit longer to generate anything in OpenCode for some reason, compared to like if I were just running this in Ollama by itself. So it's a bit slow in that case. But we can test out all the models. So I'm going to open up another Alacrity window here. I'm going to do another OpenCode. I'm not sure this is a good idea because I'm going to be essentially stressing my GPU. But let's see. This time I'm going to open up Qwen 3 Coder 30B. I'm just going to say hi to make sure that it's working. You can see there a lot of RAM usage. So right now, to use something like this, essentially you need to have a pretty, I would say, beefy system. It doesn't have to be super powerful, but in my case here, I have you know, an RTX 3080 and then 64 gigs of RAM. So it's not too high end, but it's pretty modest and it can run these models. So here you can see like now I have a response from GPT-OSS and you can see this is still taking its time. If you notice, it's actually faster in Ollama. So if I actually search for, if I open a new Alacrity window and I do something like Ollama on GPT-OSS 20B, you would notice that it's actually faster here compared to what we have in here. It's much faster here for some reason. Not sure why, but this is taking its sweet time as well. Quite a lot of high RAM usage there as well. Qwen 3 is taking its sweet time. So we'll just wait, and when we get back, we would have the answer. Okay, so here as you can see now, we do have the answer from Qwen. It's like, hello, how can I help you today? Same thing. I would say that OpenCode for some reason is quite slow with Ollama. Then Ollama is like, you can see how quick this is gonna be. Like once I message here, you can see how fast that was, right? OpenCode takes forever. Like, so okay, how can you help me today? So if I say generate me a Python, like, okay, let me do it here. Generate me a Python code to do a simple fetch request to the network. You can see much faster. You get thinking steps. You can see like it's actually pretty fast. This to me is fast enough, but in here in OpenCode is so slow for some reason. I don't understand why. So today what we are going to do is we are going to do something weird. We are going to code in Ollama instead of OpenCode because I feel like OpenCode is so much slower. So they're going to ask us to generate code. We're going to copy the code. We're going to put it in the HTML file, CSS, JS, and we're going to see who does a better job, essentially. Okay. All right, so let's do that. So I'm going to close OpenCode. So if you want, you can try to use OpenCode if you get a faster experience there, but we can use Ollama directly for this test. All right. So what I'm going to do, since we're testing 3 models, we're testing GPT-OSS, Qwen 3 Coder, and Gemma 3 27B. So I'm going to close that and I'm going to start a new chat. So because OpenCode is a bit slow with the models, what I'm going to do is that we're going to basically run this in Ollama. And the way we're going to run this is we're basically going to tell Ollama, hey, generate this code for us. We're going to give it a prompt And when we give it a prompt, it's essentially going to write the code for us. We're going to copy it and we're going to paste it in our HTML file. And so the prompt we're going to give it is, hey, generate me a beautiful login form in HTML. So we just want to do a simple login form, and we're going to basically compare all the three models. We're going to compare, Qwen 3, we're going to compare Gemma 3, and we're going to compare GPT-OSS 20 billion parameter. So you can see the parameters here. For Qwen is 30B, for Gemma is 27B, for GPT-OSS it is 20B. And so to run this, we're simply going to do Ollama run GPT-OSS 20B. And then once we run the 20B model, this is going to say hi. As you can see here, it's much faster in Ollama compared to OpenCode. I'm not sure why that's the case. It's a little bit weird since it uses Ollama under the hood. So we're going to copy the prompt and we're basically going to paste the prompt here. And yeah, you can see it thinks, and yeah. So get back and see what it ends up generating. Okay, so here's the final result. So it did the generation, right? Like it's basically you have like your sign in, email address. Some of the scripting here is wrong, from a perspective of, hey, this is a local LLM. It's a really small model. It's a 20 billion parameter model. It's running locally on your system. I think if you want to do some quick prototyping, it's not necessarily bad, especially if you're going to be doing some coding as well. If you're actually going to not be doing vibe coding, you're going to be going in there, you're going to be doing some stuff. Okay, so the next thing we want to check right now is the next model, right? So we have, so I'm just going to stop this model. So I'm going to say Ollama stop GPT. Stop. I think I forgot the name of the model. No. Ollama stop GPT OSS 20B. So this is what the GPT model did. So we're going to create another one. We're going to call it index HTML, and it's going to be called Qwen, right? Okay, so we're going to take a look at Qwen now. Basically, it would be Ollama run Qwen 3 coder 30B. Okay. So let's check the speed first. Just gonna say hi. Wow, that's really fast. Okay, so let's basically paste the same prompt that I did for the GPT-1, and let's see if it does a better job. And it's off to the races. Okay, so Qwen is done, and so we're just gonna take the results that it did. It sort of actually did something similar to GPT-OSS in terms of putting everything in the same HTML, so it's not like it generated a CSS or everything, just put everything in one. That's okay. We're using a local LLM. I don't expect it to be like the, to do all the compartment and separation of concerns type of thing. So it's just gonna go. Oh wow. So, oh wow. I'll be honest with you, this is night and day. This is a night and day result. I mean, look at this from GPT-OSS and look at this from Qwen. I mean, like, this is running locally. Like, this is as good as a, like, I will expect an actual online model to generate something like this. I will. And this runs locally. That's crazy. I did not expect that at all. This is really good. Like, of course there's the gradients, but I don't think it overused on the gradient. I think it actually did kind of a great job. And this is still majorly white from like a perspective. Like, this is still white. The gradients here are subtle, but they're nice. Even need to continue with sign up, forgot your password. So it went a little bit above and beyond what we asked for it to do. You can see here as well, welcome back, like sign in. So it's a bit more creative for sure. Whereas in this case here, GPT-OSS was just like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. And it just did that. Right? So I much prefer the results of Qwen here compared to GPT-OSS. So right now we have Qwen, who is in first place, and then GPT-OSS right now is in second place because we've only done 2. So the next one to test now will be so I'm just gonna close this. Okay, close. So let's list first. I'm gonna stop. Qwen. I'm very impressed by its results, and I'm gonna basically run Gemma now. Let's see what Gemma is able to generate for us. So again, I'm gonna put in the same prompt. I'm gonna say hi first, see how fast it responds there. Gemma is a bit slower, I would say. I'm a bit worried at how slow it is compared to Qwen. Looking at the responses here, it seems a bit more creative with its response to hi compared to the others. Sure, I know you can do all this stuff. Okay, so let's give it the same question and let's see what it gets up to. Okay, so Gemma is done, and it actually was the only model that separated it into different pieces. So it has the HTML part, of course, and so if we just do like Gemma HTML, I'm just gonna copy that. So it has that, of course, and then it also did a style.css, right? So it actually generated a separate style sheet for it. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna put it inside the style.css. Okay. And then of course it's explaining as well. So it's telling us, hey, this is what I did. I have a card layout, clean input fields, consistent styling, stuff like that. So we're gonna test this out. So we're gonna basically copy this. Okay. Okay, so here's the results of Gemma. Honestly, this is the worst of them all. This is the worst. Like this is pretty terrible. I'm sorry. Like this, like just look at the others. Like, you know, this one did an SVG. Like it tried, you know, it tried to do something nice with the shown height. Of course, that didn't work, you know. But you can see like the styling is pretty nice. But if you look here, like this is just so bad. Like it's like it didn't even try. So end results, the way I'll rank this, I'll rank Qwen on top. I'll rank GPT-OSS second, the 20 billion parameter model. And I'll rank Gemma as last, dead last. It's like way behind. Same prompts, you can see this is what we have for Qwen. This is what we have for GPT-OSS. And this is what we have for Gemma. Gemma is by far the worst here. I don't even know what it did. Like, this is so like, yeah, like it works, but it didn't even try. You know, it didn't even try. Well, anyways, but that's what you have. That's what we have here. So I think here, honestly, if you want to do a quick prototype, I think I'll be pretty confident to be able to say that Gemma did a perfect job. Pattern is right. You can see everything it did is basically right. You can see here, please fill out the field. It actually did some validations, Google, Facebook, all of that stuff. Of course, it doesn't have a sign up, but looking at this, honestly, I'm really happy with the results from Qwen here. The results are pretty fantastic. And yeah, that's it. Hope you have a great one, guys. Guys and girls, test this out. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, and also feel free to add comments and let me know what model you'd like me to test next. Thank you.